Hey, so I am back with part 2 of creating the corset for this prom gown. And here I am working with a Maidenform bra that I purchased from Walmart. And the whole reasoning behind that was that the original corset design had a yoke. And yoke corsets are really good for clients that are bustier because it helps give that extra support. And also it creates the base for designs that require you to have beading that cascades up, toward the upper chest area, or, cascading from the corset to the shoulders or anything like that. So it allows you to have a base to work with as well. So my client actually changed her mind during production, and I encourage you as designers to not get discouraged when your clients change their minds, because we are trying to give them the vision that they want. And so the original design would have supported the cups that I had designed for this, but because she changed her mind, she no longer wanted the yoke. We were just going with a simple corset style, and I didn't want to have to start all over. So I purchased this bra, and I said I will make deeper cups because the ones I made were too small. So once I pinned the cups to make sure that they were the right size, oh, there's my little cup. It's a big difference, right? I then traced around to just make sure that I knew how much I needed to cut off of those cups because they were a little too big, and I didn't want to have that gapping near her bust area. Once I got my desired point of where I wanted the cup to stop, I cut off all the excess, and these cups were really thick because there was a lot of padding, and so I did need to pin them because I was going to take this to my serger and serge the ends and make sure that everything stayed put, because the outer fabric was really, really stretchy, so it tended to bunch up, and I wanted everything to kind of be really sturdy and put together. I do the same to the other cup just to make sure that everything was perfectly even. So that's why I used the remnant of the first cup to just kind of trace that one to be almost an exact match. And once I got everything traced out, I then cut the excess off of the second cup and followed up by pinning it in the same way I did the first one so that I can take them both to my serger. And I added some mesh to cover the cups because I did not like how light that color nude was, and it didn't quite go with the base of the corset. So I just wanted to make sure everything was kind of uniform. And so I did manage to cover it with some mesh before attaching the cups to my corset. And seriously, let's admire how neat everything looks, how it came together once it was all done. And this is how that turned out. I feel like it looked so much better than it did the first time around. Yes, much better. And now my client can have enough support for all this beading that is about to go onto this dress. So next, I did have to add a piece of mesh because she had sort of a plunge, a plunge cut in the front. And like I said, originally there was going to be a yoke, so that space would have been covered with mesh from the shoulders down into that V. And so here I am just trying to add that piece of mesh to close that space in so that there's no pulling when we go to tighten her corset around her. Here I am pinning just to make sure that we can hold the mesh in place, because mesh gets very shifty. If you work with it, you'll know. And I cut off all the excess just to get that out of the way, because why have more than what you need? And so once I got that out the way, I took it to my sewing machine, top stitched it, and this is how it turned out. And Here is how she looked at prom. Get into the hand beading I did in the back as well as the front, and all that hand beading all over the top of the corset. Turned out beautifully.